Hi, I'm Angie from UCRA, and we're celebrating Plastic Free July, which is a campaign to educate the public about the effects of plastic pollution and all the things that we can do to avoid single-use plastic in our everyday life. And one of the great things you can do for Plastic Free July is called the waste audit. And that's the process of collecting your landfill trash and looking at it to try to understand what it is that you're throwing out and how you can reduce it even more. So I've been collecting my landfill trash for the past 2 weeks, and I'm delighted to share that all of it fits inside this little Ziploc bag. And you may be wondering, how is it that I create this little amount of garbage? And so with proper recycling, by participating in home composting, by recycling our film plastics, and participating in other special recycling programs, you'd be amazed how little garbage you can actually make. So let's talk about what actually is recyclable. This is our dual stream recycling guide, and we're just going to talk about plastics today, but you can see the shapes that we showing here are bottles, jugs, jars, and tubs. So in general, if you think about recycling those shapes, they're very highly recoverable in recycling. Always make sure that your bottles are clean and dry. There's no food or liquids in them. And we do recommend you keep the bottle caps on for plastic containers. And also it's good to note that you shouldn't compress or flatten your jugs and your cans. You want to keep them in that 3D shape. And if you're not sure what's recyclable, you can always just ask your service provider. Now, there's a special type of recycling called film plastic recycling. So these objects don't go in your recycling bin at home, but they can be recycled if you bring them back to a local grocery store, a large retail outlet. So you can see all different types of flexible bags like bread bags, dry cleaning bags, Ziploc bags, case wrap around bottled water or toilet paper, paper products, produce bags. There's all different types of thin plastic film that you can collect and recycle outside of the bin. And once you start collecting these, you'll be amazed how much you really have. And it's so easy to do. You just bring it back to the grocery store. So by recycling correctly, collecting film plastics, I also mentioned composting, which I compost at home with worms, I'm able to create very, very little landfill trash. So let's take a look at some of my garbage and see what ended up with and what maybe I can do better next time. You'll see that a lot of the landfill trash in here are different types of baggies and things like that that aren't necessarily good for film plastic recycling. For example, this is like a candy bag, which I had some mushroom jerky, and if you pull on the bag and it doesn't stretch and it doesn't tear, then that's really not for film plastic recycling. So that's the stretch test that you could always check out. So snack baggies are not really recyclable. I have a lot of receipt. You can always opt to avoid your receipt if you can catch the clerk in time, but receipt paper is not recyclable. We have some foil packets here. We have some rigid plastic that, again, this isn't really a bottle, a jug, a jar, or a tub. It doesn't fit into those categories. So that's why that's not recyclable. And for the same reason, we have a little clamshell container that opens on a hinge like this. So unfortunately, these containers are also not a bottle, jug, jar, or a tub, so they are landfill trash. And now that I know and I can see what types of things I've thrown out, I can kind of think about alternatives that I can look to buy so that I can further reduce the amount of landfill trash I have. So we want to encourage you to rethink waste and participate in Plastic Free July. How long could you go without using any new plastic? Do you think you could go a day? Do you think you could go a whole week? Go for it. Collect your garbage and let us know what you find. And thanks for watching our video. Happy Plastic Free July.